Welcome to the launch of the National Climate and Environmental Communication Initiative, ACCRA. We would like to apologize for the late start, but we are all here, so we will continue with the program. Before we start, we will call on Minister Abdulkadir to give us the opening prayer. Please give a round of applause. Good morning. Please, we are praying. Heavenly Father, once again, we want to thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for this wonderful day that you have given us. We have converged here this morning to launch the National Climate and Environmental Communication Initiative for our country. We thank you for making this possible. We pray that all regions that will follow this will be able to in your direction. We pray that you start with us, continue with us, and end it with us. We commit all those who are yet to get here to your care. We pray as we travel mercies, and you get to see. Thank you in the name of God the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you very much for that powerful prayer. And once again, I'd like to welcome you to the launch of the National Climate and Environmental Communication Initiative, a program which is led by the Environmental Protection Authority in collaboration with the Oxford University. As you all know, communication is very dear to our hearts, so we deem it a privilege to be able to collaborate with the university. Thank you very much. So I'll call on the National Focal Point Head for Action for Climate Empowerment, Mr. Kasim Hussein, to give us the welcome address. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Audrey. Good morning. Professor Nanama Brown-Puche, Chief Executive Officer of the Environmental Protection Authority. Professor ACCRA Richu, Chairperson of the National Media Commission. Mr. John Kwamna Esel, Pro-Chancellor of Oxford University. Distinguished representatives from government, the private sector, academia, civil society, and the media. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. It is my pleasure to warmly welcome you to the media launch of the National Climate and Environmental Communication Initiative, NCECI, a landmark collaboration between the Environmental Protection Authority and Oxford University. Today, we are not just launching another program, we are launching a national movement, one that seeks to make climate and environmental communication accessible, creative, and action-driven. Across our communities, the impacts of climate change are real and visible, from unpredictable rains affecting our farmers to coastal erosion threatening livelihoods. Yet, too often, the science, policies, and data that explain these changes do not reach the people who need them most. The NCECI seeks to close that gap, to turn knowledge into understanding and understanding into action. As the National Focal Point for Action for Climate Empowerment is, under the UNFCCC, I am deeply proud of this initiative. It gives practical meaning to the 6 pillars of ACE: education, training, public awareness, access to information, public participation, and international cooperation. Through NCECI, we are empowering journalists, communicators, and corporate leaders to tell Ghana's climate story in ways that inspire action. We are also giving our youth and communities the tools to engage meaningfully in climate decision-making at all levels. This launch is especially timely as the world prepares for the COP30 in Brazil later this year, at a time when countries are expected to demonstrate real progress on climate communication and transparency. NCECI positions Ghana to share its story, one of innovation, resilience, and collective responsibility. It shows that for Ghana, climate action is not just about policy, it is about people, participation, and partnership. Allow me to commend the EPA under the visionary leadership of Prof. Nanama Brown-Kuche for championing this initiative. To Professor ACCRA Chairperson of the National Media Commission, your presence here reflects the vital role of the media in shaping national understanding and accountability on climate issues. To Mr. John Pamela Isel and the entire Nassau University leadership, thank you for your partnership and commitment to training a new generation of climate communicators. And to all colleagues from EPA, thank you for joining hands to make this vision possible. Distinguished guests, climate communication is not just about sharing information. It is about empowering people to act. Let this initiative mark a new chapter, one where science meets storytelling and awareness leads to action. Once again, I welcome you all to the historic launch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hussein. Let's give him another round of applause. There will be some slight changes to the program, but before then, I'd like to indicate that for every occasion there is a chairperson. And so we are privileged to have in our midst Professor Etia Opoku-Wa-Richun, who is an associate professor at the Department of Labor and Human Resource Studies, University of Cape Coast. Today she left Cape Coast in the early hours of the morning to be here with us today, and we are truly grateful. She holds a doctorate from the University of the Netherlands, and her first and second degrees were obtained from the University of Ghana, Legon, my university, so I'm very proud of that. She also holds a postgraduate certificate in education from the University of Cape Coast, and her secondary education was at Embry Girls Secondary. She served as the director for the Center for Gender Research, Advocacy, and Documentation at the University of Cape Coast. She has also been associated with the University of Kassel in Germany, where she held the Elabat Guest Professor Chair in the Faculty of Social Sciences. She has served as a Senior Research Associate with the University of Johannesburg, South Africa. The list goes on and on and on. Let me welcome her. Let's give her a round of applause. Professor Etia Opoku-Wa-Richun, our chairperson for this occasion. And take note, she's a lady. Our CEO is also a lady. I'm also a lady. So please clap for her. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your kind words. I missed the last name. But yeah, thank you very much for your kind words and also for shortening them. Let me also add to this excitement of having a women-dominated space, and that we are no longer in the minorities. Exciting. And even more exciting because of the initiative that we are launching today and what it means, because then there are different people will come to this initiative from different contexts. So I would like to pray with the audience, everybody here to stand on the protocols that have already been established, and to also express my appreciation for this invitation to share this program. And in terms of reflecting on this space and event, I'm sure for us in Ghana, we don't need anybody to tell us how human activity can be so devastating. And our conversations, the visible concern that we have is artisanal mining. Most of the time we focus on the illegality part of it and what it's doing to our environment. Already there are signs and symptoms of what is happening to changes in children that are being born, our water bodies that are all looking cloudy. So we in Ghana in particular understand the existential crisis of human activity to the environment. And therefore, it comes as really exciting that a university should want to collaborate with a state institution and a private university at that, want to collaborate with the Environmental Protection Authority to build efforts at communicating, build efforts of journalists to communicate information on climate and on climate change and environmental degradation. Because when we talk about the area of climate change and environmental degradation, it's an area that is filled with rich scientific research. And it's also an area where we have transdisciplinary research, because it's not just the scientists, it's the social sciences, the humanities, legal issues, everybody is there. And so there's rich data. We also know that there are interests that seek to ensure that there's scientific knowledge and its implications for the way we engage with our environment does not make headway. Because there are people who are benefiting from the status quo. So whilst there's scientific knowledge, there's a countering of the validity of this scientific knowledge in order to delegitimize the concerns and reduce the import of the message that the scientific research is coming about. So we know that there are climate deniers, and that some of these climate change deniers are really very powerful, because it means they have to change what they are producing. It means they have to reformulate their production processes, and so there's a lot of money that people stand to lose. So if there is an initiative really that seeks to strengthen the capacity of journalists, not just journalists, but communicators, corporate bodies, public institutions, and development actors, to convey climate and environmental messages accurately, creatively, and effectively, it is an initiative that is worth supporting. So, as the chair of the Media Commission, we see the accuracy of information and how it's presented as critical for our country. Because the information that is shared has to come from a credible source. So the question is, do we have the capacity to point the journalists that we train to sources that are credible? And then also, the whole point about informing is to warn, is to persuade, is to mobilize. Is to inform, is to mobilize. But then we also know that we come to this with different values and worldviews. I know that there is going to be a keynote address, and I'm thrilled by the title of this keynote address, because it seeks to bridge the gap and turn climate and environmental knowledge into public understanding and action. But even as we go on, I think that there are few things I would like to add to this initiative. I know the concept note really is succinct, but there are few that are missing. Because when we talk about the private sector, I would like to point out that we have indigenous private sector. So, in particular, when we are talking about the outcomes and the collaborators, I would like to plead for a rethink of including traders, artisans, people in our markets, and also what do you call them? People who cater. Because every weekend, when I attend weddings and I attend funerals, I'm amazed about the waste that is produced. So, in order to bring my acceptance note and make it short, I would like to say that you can see that I've accepted, and for the applause that greeted me also, I'm assured of your cooperation that will make this launch a success, because it has to be successful. Our whole existence as a nation and national priorities for development rest on the success of this launch and the activities that will flow out of it. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, lady. And Professor, please, let's give another round of applause. As I indicated earlier, there is going to be a change in the program, so please bear with us. I will now call upon the CEO of the Environmental Protection Authority, the first female CEO of the Environmental Protection Authority. My friends from the media, you are taking notes. Professor Nanama Brown-Kuche, to give us the keynote address. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. Professor Chair, Our Lady Chair, thanks for your support. Very pleased to also stand on the existing protocols to deliver my speech, and thanks for your understanding in the adjustment of the program. Distinguished guests, representatives from government, academia, partners, our partner from Latford University, good morning. It's a great honor to be here, to be part of this historical occasion, the official launch of the National Climate and Environmental Communication Initiative. We say NCECI. This, as you heard in the welcome address, is a partnership between the Environmental Protection Authority and the Latford University. Today we are beginning a bold step, a strategic national effort to transform how we communicate climate and environmental issues in Ghana. This is a demonstration of a bridge of the gap we have in the knowledge and the action. So across the world, climate change continues to threaten lives, livelihood, and ecosystems. Ghana, we have our share. We are witnessing already the impact. Rising temperatures, erratic rainfall, coastal erosion, loss of biodiversity. These have other repercussions on our lives and even food security. Yet, despite the increasing scientific evidence and policy actions, public understanding and engagement remains limited. Too often, climate information stays confined to technical reports, policy circles. The science is right, the science is strong, but the message does not always reach the ordinary people who actually need it most: the farmers, the fishermen, the youth, the business leaders, and the everyday citizen whose choices shape our collective future. This is the communication gap that the initiative seeks to close. The National Climate and Environmental Communication Initiative is designed as a comprehensive national platform to build a community of skilled communicators, journalists, corporate actors and educators who can deliver clear, relatable, and impactful environmental messages. It's one thing having the knowledge, and another thing communicating it. So to ensure that every Ghanaian can understand, engage with, and take part in climate action, the initiative will strengthen the capacity of media professionals and communicators to report on environmental and climate issues accurately and creatively. The initiative will support corporate sustainability communication and ESG reporting, promoting transparency and accountability. The initiative will engage youth and communities through the action of climate empowerment, the ACE framework, and equally foster collaboration among government, academia, and private sector, and also the development partners to promote a united national response. As the global community prepares for the Conference of Party 30, COP30 in Brazil later this year, but next month, the communication on climate action is shifting towards implementation, transparency, and inclusion. For Ghana, this means strengthening not only our policies and commitment, but also the way we communicate them. Effective climate communication is essential for demonstrating our progress on the nationally determined contributions, the just transition, and the action for climate empowerment. This initiative positions Ghana to tell its own story, one of resilience, innovation, and leadership in a language that our people, our partners, and the world can understand. As we approach COP30, this initiative ensures that our national voice is clear, unified, and grounded in public understanding and participation. Because a world-informed nation is a stronger negotiating nation. Science provides the evidence, policy provides the direction, but communication provides the connection. When communication fails, even the best climate strategy loses momentum. But when communication succeeds, it inspires action from the community level to the boardroom, from the classroom to parliament. Effective communication translates complex science to public understanding. It makes the abstract real terms, concerns into commitment. That is why the EPA is proud to lead this initiative to ensure that climate messages and environmental situations and informations are not just heard, but also understood and acted upon. The initiative will strive on partnership. We believe that the EPA cannot do it alone. We are proud to have the Northford University as our academic anchor and look forward to strong collaboration with the Ghana Journalists Association, the Media Foundation for West Africa, corporate network, and development partners. Together we can make climate communication, environmental communication, not just an occasional campaign, but a sustained national movement. As we launch the initiative today, I call on all of us, scientists, communicators, policymakers, students, and citizens, to play our part in amplifying Ghana's message on climate and the environment. Let us move from awareness to empowerment, from knowledge to action, and from isolated efforts to collective responsibility. Because climate communication, environment communication, is not just about sharing information, it's about also shaping the future that we want. Distinguished guests, this initiative, the National Climate and Environmental Communication Initiative, represents a new chapter in our country's climate journey. This is where we knowledge meet action. This is repeated severally. It bears repeating. Knowledge meets action. On behalf of the Environmental Protection Authority, I wish to thank you all our partners, all our stakeholders, for believing in this vision. Let's work together to empower the voices for a sustainable future and to make Ghana's message resonate strongly as we head to COP30 and beyond.